As a follow-up to our recent video about the story of Scorpion, here we'll be talking about Sub-Zero, the Chinese ninja of ice, another highly popular character within the world of Mortal Kombat. Unlike Scorpion, who's only ever been the persona of Hanzo Hasashi, Sub-Zero is an alias that has been assumed by more than one person across the series. Within the Mortal Kombat games, there are two playable Sub-Zeros. In this video, we'll be taking a look at Sub-Zero's entire story. Please note that this video consists of content that we published before the release of Mortal Kombat 11 back in 2019, but now we have greatly expanded on that with completely new edits and re-recordings, and new content considering the events from Mortal Kombat 11 and its DLC Aftermath. As always, it's worth noting that the Mortal Kombat mythology is comprised of two continuities, the Midway Games continuity and the NetherRealm continuity. The two continuities mostly exist separate from each other. The Midway continuity is primarily built on the mainline Mortal Kombat games and spin-offs made during the time Midway Games was active. Though Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe is generally not considered canon, the NetherRealm continuity, meanwhile, is founded on trying to avert a course of events in the ending of the 7th mainline Mortal Kombat game, Mortal Kombat Armageddon. In either continuity, there are two Sub-Zeros. All Sub-Zeros are members of a clan of martial artists called the Lin Kuei, an insular and disciplined group of Chinese martial artists who loathe defectors and, throughout their history, have often clashed with Japanese splinter group called the Shirai Ryu, with whom Scorpion is aligned with. The Lin Kuei all dress in blue, but unlike the Sub-Zeros, not all of them possess the ability to manipulate ice. That is specific to the Cryomancers, a race of humans native to the Outworld. In both continuities, there are only three characters with Cryomancer blood: Bi-Han, the first Sub-Zero, Kuei Liang, the second Sub-Zero, and a female Lin Kuei warrior named Frost. By the time the Mortal Kombat games kick off, few Cyromancers, certainly of pure blood, exist, and have been largely wiped out during the course of Shao Kahn's reign as Emperor, a period of time that precedes the games. The first Sub-Zero we see in the Mortal Kombat games is named Bi-Han. Bi-Han participates in the first known Mortal Kombat tournament in either continuity, either the first Mortal Kombat game or Mortal Kombat 2011. In either timeline, Scorpion kills Bi-Han. In the Midway Games continuity, Bi-Han, assuming the alias Sub-Zero, participates in the tournament upon invitation. Scorpion and the first Sub-Zero fight after the tournament is concluded, with Scorpion killing Sub-Zero. His soul would descend into the NetherRealm, where he is reborn as Noob Saibot, a shadowy and evil embodiment of his former self. No longer human and abandoning his ice powers, Bi-Han as Noob Saibot continues to be a relevant character throughout the rest of the series and frequently acts in concert with villainous characters. In the NetherRealm continuity, Bi-Han as the warrior Sub-Zero also participates in the first Mortal Kombat tournament. He's accompanied by Lin Kuei, warrior Cyrax, and Sector. He fights and loses against Sonya Blade and eventually encounters Scorpion. In this timeline, Scorpion himself is portrayed as a demon resurrected by the evil sorcerer Quan Chi, due to whose manipulations he also believes that Sub-Zero was responsible for the death of his family and the Shirai Ryu clan. Understandably, for those reasons, he seeks out revenge against the Lin Kuei ninja. However, Raiden, who is attempting to repeat the events of the past timeline and wants to avert future crises, is successful in convincing Scorpion to let Bi-Han live, even after he's defeated in battle. Scorpion does this under the assumption that Raiden will bring back Scorpion's family and the Shirai Ryu clan. However, aware of Scorpion's acceptance of Raiden's instructions, Quan Chi projects false images of the Lin Kuei, including Bi-Han, devastating the Shirai Ryu into Scorpion's mind, enraging Scorpion into eventually killing Bi-Han anyway, even though the latter attempts to plead his innocence. Bi-Han is later resurrected by Quan Chi as Noob Saibot, and Noob Saibot continues his Midway continuity characterization by generally aligning himself with the villains. The Sub-Zero most often seen throughout both continuities is named Kuei Liang, younger brother of Bi-Han, who assumes the mantle of Sub-Zero once his older brother is killed, whereas his brother is less virtuous. Kuei Liang is frequently described as heroic and is aligned with heroic characters in the Mortal Kombat games. In the Midway Games continuity, Kuei Lang is first playable in Mortal Kombat 2 under the name Sub-Zero and is playable throughout the rest of the continuity as Sub-Zero. In Mortal Kombat 2, he seeks to kill Shang Tsung. During the tournament, Sub-Zero also spares the life of someone he defeats. This strikes Scorpion, who is observing from a distance, as odd because it is, of course, uncharacteristic of the Sub-Zero he knew. Realizing that this Sub-Zero is not the same man he killed, Scorpion vows to never hurt this new incarnation he's seeing. In the third game, the Lin Kuei demand their warriors to become cyborgs. This is the game that would introduce the robots Cyrax, Sector, and Smoke. Smoke was one of Kuei Lang's friends, and along with Sub-Zero, rejected the Lin Kuei commands to be transformed, but only Sub-Zero would escape capture. Defying the Lin Kuei authority earns him the ire of the clan, and Cyrax, Sector, and Smoke are sent to subjugate Sub-Zero. Later, in Mortal Kombat 4, Scorpion, under misdirection from Quan Chi, again encounters Sub-Zero and defeats him. Apparently on the verge of killing Sub-Zero, Quan Chi tauntingly reveals that he is the killer of Scorpion's family. In the next game, Sub-Zero is in possession of the Dragon Medallion, which enhances his abilities, and assumes leadership over the Lin Kuei. He moves their headquarters to the Arctic, reforms the Lin Kuei by teaching both fighting skills and virtues for life, and takes in a female apprentice named Frost, another Cyromancer. While capable, Frost is also a bit of a problematic personality, to say the very least, and later in the game, she dies while attempting to steal and use the powers of the Dragon Medallion for herself. In Mortal Kombat Deception, Sub-Zero learns of the Cyromancers and later encounters the swordsman Kenshi, whose life he saves, and the two become strong companions and later fight together against Hotaru. Sub-Zero later encounters a former ally of Bi-Han named Serena, a demon who helped Bi-Han fight Quan Chi in the spin-off title Mortal Kombat Mythology's Sub-Zero. As a gesture of gratitude for her assistance to Bi-Han, Sub-Zero offers her asylum with the Lin Kuei group, and entrusts her with an item that reveals the location of the Lin Kuei headquarters. Sub-Zero then spots Noob Saibot and Smoke and trails them, planning to defeat his former allies. The pair, however, are aware that he's following them, and in the fight that follows, Sub-Zero is defeated. Serena intervenes and fends off Sub-Zero's assailants, and the battle ends with Noob Saibot and Smoke fleeing, and Sub-Zero in a semi-conscious state, attacking Serena. Later, when he returns to the Lin Kuei headquarters, he finds that many members of the clan have been slain by an awakened Frost, who is dispatched by Sub-Zero. In Mortal Kombat Armageddon's story, Sub-Zero eventually fights alongside the heroes at the end of the game, killing Scorpion but apparently dying to Baraka. It is this course of events, full of bloodshed, destruction, failure for the heroes, that Raiden seeks to avert, leading to the inception of the Netherrealm continuity. In Mortal Kombat 2011, the first game of the Netherrealm continuity, both Bi-Han as Noob Saibot and Kuei Lang as Sub-Zero are playable. Kuei Lang travels with Smoke in this game, and has his own story mode chapter. Smoke and Sub-Zero encounter fellow Lin Kuei warrior Cyrax, transformed into a cyborg, and demanding that the other two submit as well. He, however, is later captured and turned into a cyborg, playable as a separate character named Cyber Sub-Zero, who has his own story mode chapter. Upon being cyberized, the new version of Sub-Zero can very much be categorized as a negative character, though eventually he is reprogrammed with the help of the Earthrealm warriors. Still a cyborg, Sub-Zero later encounters Noob Saibot. The two recognize each other as blood brothers, but Noob Saibot renounces his ties to Sub-Zero, and in the ensuing fight, Sub-Zero wins. In confrontation between Sindel and many Earthrealm-aligned characters, Sub-Zero in his cybernetic form is killed, and is later resurrected by Quan Chi to serve him. A special comic series tied to Mortal Kombat X reveals that Kuei Lang was resurrected by Raiden as a human, along with Jax and Scorpion. During this comic, Scorpion and Sub-Zero, with the former having been resurrected as a full-fledged human rather than a demon, fight again, though neither emerges victorious. While Sub-Zero continues to plead for innocence, Scorpion, aka Hanzo, continues to hold his hatred towards his adversary, still believing him to be responsible for the death of his family and his clan. In Mortal Kombat X, Sub-Zero is now the Grandmaster of the reformed Lin Kuei, which was previously decimated by a widespread effort to turn the warriors into cyborgs. Sub-Zero seeks to make amends with Scorpion by inviting the latter to the Lin Kuei headquarters. An already skeptical Scorpion is attacked by Sub-Zero's disciple Frost, further enraging him. Sub-Zero freezes Frost and, using information from the defeated Lin Kuei turned cyborg Sector, shows Scorpion that Quan Chi is guilty of the crimes that Sub-Zero is accused of, following which the two rival ninjas finally make amends. Later on in his Mortal Kombat X story, Kuai Liang also has run-ins with Cassie Cage and her father Johnny Cage, while he's also present when Earth's Jinsei is corrupted by the forces of Outworld. He and the Lin Kuei forces are later also instrumental in driving back Shao Kahn and his followers back to Outworld. By the time Mortal Kombat 11's results begin, things start to get really loopy, most of which stems from Kronika's time manipulation causing past versions of a number of characters to be pulled into the present. As a result of that, the Cyber Lin Kuei, whom Sub-Zero thought to be a problem that had been fully dealt with in the past, is reformed, with past versions of the likes of Cyrax and Sector, both in their cyberized forms, being involved, along with many others. Sub-Zero, knowing that Sector and the Cyber Lin Kuei will likely try and attack the reformed Shirai Ryu once again, just as they did in the past, instantly informs Scorpion of their impending threat. The two are, of course, now allied with each other, and decide to fight together in their attempt to take down the Cyborg clan. The two of them infiltrate the Cyber Lin Kuei and successfully fight and defeat the likes of Cyrax and Frost. Much to their surprise, they also cross paths with Bi-Han, or Noob Saibot, who had been revived yet again by Quan Chi. Eventually, Noob Saibot and Sector are also defeated, while Sub-Zero and Scorpion are also able to free Cyrax from his cyberized enslavement. Cyrax, however, ends up sacrificing his circuits in order to shut down the Cyber Lin Kuei cyborg productions, with Sub-Zero welcoming into his reformed Lin Kuei clan in his final moments, and vowing to find a way to bring him back as long as his human soul still survives. From that point forward, Sub-Zero's role in Mortal Kombat 11's story is less prominent than some other characters. He is one of several heroes who take refuge at Scorpion and Shirai Ryu's Fire Garden, with most of Earthrealm under attack and being decimated by Kronika's forces. Later on in the game, after the defeat of Hanzo, when the past version of Scorpion arrives at the Fire Garden, both Sub-Zero and Raiden believe that Scorpion has been sent by Kronika and are ready to kill him, though Liu Kang is able to convince them both that this version of Scorpion has indeed been redeemed, thanks to the final actions of the now deceased Hanzo. Sub-Zero is later aboard Karin's fleet in the battle against Kronika. Of course, he's also one of a multitude of characters who essentially gets erased from existence when Kronika, in her climactic duel with Liu Kang, ends up reversing time all the way back to the prehistoric era in a last-ditch attempt at victory. Sub-Zero does obviously show up again in Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath. At this point, after having defeated Kronika in his attempt for an entirely new timeline, Liu Kang has reversed time to the point where preparations for the final assault on Kronika's keep are on. Once again, the time-displaced version of Scorpion arrives at the Fire Garden, and once again Sub-Zero prepares to fight him, believing that he has been sent by Kronika. This time, however, their fight is interrupted by the sudden arrival of the Shang Tsung and Fujin, which, understandably enough, takes everyone by great surprise. Meanwhile, there's no sign of Sub-Zero at the final battle at the end of Aftermath. Is he presumed dead? Is he there and just not shown on screen? Honestly, it could be either of the two. It is, however, also a little irrelevant because the next Mortal Kombat game, which is the upcoming Mortal Kombat 1, is set once again in an entirely new timeline. Liu Kang has indeed succeeded in creating his own new era, where he hopes the people in all the realms will be able to live much more peaceful lives. That means many of the atrocities and tribulations that the characters in the series have both faced and caused are going to be wiped clean. How that affects the story of someone like Sub-Zero should be fascinating to see. It is, of course, safe to assume that this personal arc will continue to be intrinsically linked with that of Scorpion. After all, he pretty much started out as a palette swap, even though he has grown into much more over the course of subsequent games. How exactly that will change, however, remains to be seen. Mortal Kombat 1's reveal trailer suggested that Sub-Zero and Scorpion will start in a place that it took them 10 games to get to, which means they'll be starting out this timeline as allies, not as rivals, which is what they've been for most of their lives. How their dynamic evolves from that point forward should be interesting to see. Beyond that, there are still plenty of other questions. How will Quan Chi be involved? How will Noob Saibot be involved? How different will the origins of Lin Kuei and the Shirai Ryu be? And what will be the dynamics between the two clans? Can we still expect to see all the cyborgs one would usually expect to go along with Sub-Zero and his storylines? These are, of course, staples of the Mortal Kombat franchise, especially when it comes to that Sub-Zero character. But with Mortal Kombat 1 being a reboot, we're pretty much heading into unknown territory. Thankfully, with the game out on September 19th, we won't have to wait too long to get the answers to our most burning questions. Hey, did you know that we at Gaming Bolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell, and let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.